Vermont, Mr. Welch. You're now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, my colleague from Louisiana. This question, in my view, most of us, I think, should be decided by a woman, not by politicians. In Vermont, we have significant support for reproductive choice and freedom for women. But there's two things that are happening as I see it. I want to ask a few questions about this. One is, now that there are abortion bans, it's not a question of I accept your decision on how you want to decide and you accept mine. There's really been a lot of divisiveness injected into this because there are folks who think it's not only their right to decide, but their right to decide for you. And I disagree with that. But the second thing that's really happening with some states allowing for reproductive freedom and others not, it's putting a real strain on the healthcare system. And we had a roundtable in Vermont with providers, and they were describing how this is creating additional stress on a healthcare system that's been under immense stress due to COVID and other things. So I want to ask a little bit about that. Dr. Kumar, are you seeing increases in patients traveling to other states to receive abortion care?
Yes, absolutely. So since June 24th, when the Dobbs decision came out, we haven't provided any abortion care in Texas. So everyone that's called us or sought care with us has had to travel out of state. Of course, some people can't make that trip, but that's the only option that we can give them. So if it's a little different for you, but you talk to colleagues in some of those receiving states, and how does a deeply short-staffed environment affect physicians like you and the care that you provide? Not just you, but your the nursing staff, the frontline providers. Sure, we're certainly seeing an influx of people seeking care in other states, and of course they're already taking care of people that are living in that state, and the infrastructure is already having a hard time keeping up. We're seeing wait times of several weeks, sometimes up to 3 or 4 weeks. Some clinics are so booked up that they're setting a limit on how far out they can book and having people call back, so the infrastructure is strained. Thank you. Ms. Lee, thank you so much for sharing your story. You know, these additional hoops that patients have to jump through, anytime you have a health event, you're really vulnerable, right? You're dependent, you're nervous, you're apprehensive, and you're also nervous about what the expenses are and how you're going to do it and the logistics and what it does to your employment, what it does to your family. Can the average patient who is living week to week, paycheck to paycheck, who doesn't have a lot of flexibility in schedule, who has a lot of pressures and demands that take up an immense amount of time every single day, can the average patient jump through these hoops of traveling out of state, finding a provider to receive abortion care?
Thank you for the question. It is my honor to be able to represent all of those patients that we are seeing in Pittsburgh who are traveling. Certainly, I only talk to the patients who know they can travel out of state. There is a lot of misinformation out of there that people don't think they can travel. And when I do, patients will often say, well, do you think actually you could see me next week? Could I come in 2 weeks? Because I should have enough time to save the money. And that is a heartbreaking thing to hear. That is a reality in our country. We don't actually take insurance because the vast majority of insurance plans are not allowed and don't cover abortion. But one of the real things that gives me hope and is a reminder to all of us that the actions and choices we take right now are creating the post-Roe world that we're living in is that we are able to provide significant financial assistance to patients because of the generosity of fellow Americans who believe that we each have this right, and that $250, $400 should not make the difference between if you can elect to have an abortion or not. And I am not exaggerating when I say myself and my colleagues on the phone scheduling these appointments cry with patients at least once a day when they hear the relief when I say, don't worry about it, you don't have to bring a dime. And it could move me to tears now because it's how we're showing up for each other. We're supporting that cause. I paid for my abortion out of pocket without a second thought because I'm lucky and privileged, and it's my honor to pass along that support to these patients who otherwise would be making this life-altering decision of parenting over $50, $200. It's unconscionable.
Thank you very much. I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired.